a very beautiful setting down in Buzzards Bay, Massachusetts, which is right on the Cape Cod Canal. I do have a presentation for you today, which is going to highlight STEM at Mass Maritime, which is a little bit different than most places. Traditionally, STEM, everybody thinks about, medical and engineering, of course. And we have engineering careers and we have lots of math and science for you. But more importantly, we have some very different and fun ways to learn at Mass Maritime. So without much ado, I'm going to get started and share my screen. And we're going to go right back up to the top of my presentation, and then we'll put it into presentation mode. And since we have 45 minutes, I will definitely save some time for your questions, but additionally, I can really take my time with these slides, which I think is going to be great. So we'll begin with the first slide, which gives you it says NACAC, because that's where I was before, but this is STEM at Maritime for CACHET. And this gives you a picture of our campus, and it's an aerial view. And I'm just going to point out a few of the things that we are most proud of. First off, the TS Kennedy, which is our training ship. Our marine engineering and marine transportation majors make it home. They're home for 4 sea terms during the course of their education. But the rest of our majors are also invited onto the ship, and people from marine science, safety, and environmental protection, people from our emergency management major, and even our international maritime business majors go out on the ship and have their own special experiences that would count as a co-op, which is something that Mass Maritime specializes in. Our whole goal is to prepare you for the work world, and STEM is a big part of that. So we'll start with talking about why study STEM. Well, you're all here to study STEM, and you're all thinking about STEM, or you wouldn't be at this particular event. But have you ever given any thought, why would one want to study STEM, except for the fact that you've heard over and over again, oh, the careers are great. Well, they truly are. But STEM also enables you to gain some valuable qualities, okay? And there's some benefits there. And they all come into play to produce someone who's going to be a leader in their field, an innovator, and someone who's looking to change the world. So as you look through here, fostering ingenuity and creativity, building resilience, encouraging experimentation, encouraging knowledge application and tech use, which is very huge today because everything revolves around tech, problem solving. I mean, there's so many problems out there in the world today, and hopefully our STEM leaders of the future are going to engage in their education and their career to help us solve some of the more pressing problems in our world, all of which our Mass Maritime graduates are educating themselves to do. And it also encourages adaptation. So a STEM education at Mass Maritime entails a number of different qualities and elements. So every major includes lots of science and lots of math. We're not the type of school that you're going to be coming to where you can just take, the easiest science to get through. Everybody takes chemistry, everybody takes physics, everybody takes, additional sciences, hazardous materials, chemistry. Calculus is a required course for every major, either applied calculus or for our energy systems engineering, all the way up to Calc 3. That's very important because obviously you're looking at those classes for STEM. Also, the thing that makes us unique in a lot of ways is our hands-on learning approach. As you can see, those 2 students in the photograph are in an electronics lab, and they are physically creating circuits and testing circuits. We require our students to do these labs because in the real world, you don't want to be the person that causes all the lights to go out in your facility. So you become confident through your electrical labs, through your HVAC labs, if you're in our engineering components, so that you really will understand not only just the technology, but how to implement that technology and how to be successful. The hands-on learning, harkens back to 2 of those things in STEM learning, and with knowledge application, ingenuity, and tech use. And we also are a regimental academy, and I'll talk a little bit more about that further on in my presentation. But the regimental lifestyle and our academics, our challenging academics, supports both resilience and problem solving. Because in our regimental lifestyle, you're expected to be resilient, you're expected to be detail oriented, and to be able to solve the problems that are presented to you. That's how we tailor our education at Mass Maritime. So the foundation of our curriculum is learn, foundations in the classroom, do, apply those foundations in the real world, which include our C-term, our experiential learning, and our internships or co-ops. The co-ops / internships are integrated into your curriculum. So they're a requirement to graduate. And you do them depending on your major in either the summer terms, or we're set up a little bit different than most colleges. We have a 6-week winter term that our students that are in our marine transportation and marine engineering program go off on the ship for 6 weeks, but it allows the other students to take 6 weeks and go out into the world and have a co-op that's giving them real world experience, making connections so that they many times have opportunities and offerings of jobs even before they graduate. And then finally, you come back to bring what you experience to the classroom and apply it to your future learning. So all of those things together, foundationally make our graduates different, definitely different than most graduates. We have a lot of lab facilities. I'm not going to list them all here. All again contribute to our learn, do, learn philosophy. A couple of ones that I will point out are aquaculture lab, which is for our marine science safety and environmental protection majors. That, along with being right on Buzzards Bay, allows them to go out in boats all of the time and do research in Buzzards Bay. Several years back, our students were able to find and document and mark one of the only coral reefs in the Northeast, which is right around the corner from our campus over in Buttermilk Bay. And they were out doing their research, and they happened to find this structure, and they found it to be unusual. It certainly wasn't rocks, but it was a living, breathing coral reef. So they've been doing more research on that, and it was the first one that was ever found in the Northeast. We also have over here, you can see a picture of our emergency management simulation lab, which is a new addition to the campus. And the emergency management simulator allows the students in our emergency management program to plan and prepare for careers supporting government organizations like FEMA or MEMA or town emergency management facilities, and even some of the hospitals, because our emergency management folks are collaborating with their coworkers when, situations become difficult, be it a pandemic, be it an earthquake, be it a snowstorm, whatever. And that emergency management simulator gives them that opportunity to try out those skills in a real world situation before they go out and do it in their employment. So let's talk about the regiment. This is another thing that makes us very unique, in addition to our hands-on and our learn, do, learn philosophy. If you come to Mass Maritime, you are a member of the regiment. What that means is that you wear a uniform every day for all 4 years. Your first year is a learning year. You have a lot of discipline and structure. What we do is we have our students have mandatory study hours their first year. They're expected to get up early. They have commitments to the regiment with cleaning stations, making sure that their area is neat. They have room inspections, uniform inspections, but all of this is designed to give them that skill set that makes them so valuable for employers. And it also is the foundation for achievement at Mass Maritime. So your first year, you have, that platform built underneath you with your learning opportunities, with the structure, with the discipline for success. Again, everybody wants to go off to college and have a great time. And our students have a great time, but they have it with the bumpers in the alleyways. So it's much too easy for any student to come to college, get excited, and maybe get off track. Even the best students struggle with that adjustment. At Mass Maritime, we take that out of your hands. We tell you especially for your first semester, look, we know how to make this work for you. We're going to help you. And if you buy into the program, you're going to end up very successful building an academic program that's going to be successful for you. And then as you gain experience in the regiment, you'll have those leadership opportunities where you can take to an employer, hey, I was in charge of 60 cadets. I helped them to acclimate to the institution. Or, yeah, I was an academic officer. I was in charge of all the majors that, in marine science, safety, and environmental protection. And I worked with faculty members to make sure that these students are staying on track. If we have group activities, I help to plan some of the activities that we do for marine science. I help to get new initiatives and do things better. So you really have that opportunity to make change even within the institution by being in the regiment and being a part of that leadership lab. So experiential learning is a huge part of what we do. Everyone in their first winter term, after their first semester of academics, has an experiential learning opportunity. For our emergency management students, they go down to Florida with a group of students in their major. They get to know their classmates really well. They participate in a Habitat for Humanity build. They also embed with an emergency management department in Homestead, Florida. So it gives them both that community service and giving back and, construction after a disaster type of thing, which, in emergency management, that's huge. And you also embed with an existing emergency management department so you can learn skills that they have learned through their experiences, mostly with weather. But again, I think a lot, especially with the pandemic, people have had to kind of create on the fly how you respond to those. Our marine science, safety, and environmental protection majors go down to Bermuda. They do snorkeling. They do research on some of the natural habitats. They take a look at environmental impacts on those habitats, be it climate change or, just human-made impacts on other than climate change, meaning the plastics and some of the, trash in the water, so the environmental impacts. Our energy systems and facilities engineering majors, energy systems goes to Costa Rica Earth University, and they embed there and learn about sustainable energy resources. And the facilities engineers take one C term on the Kennedy so they can learn about the systems that they'll be looking at for buildings. So facilities engineering look at building systems, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, and the marine engineering students work on those systems on ships. The marine transportation students are on C term learning about navigation and the other side, other than the engines and the systems on the ship. That's what they're doing through their C terms. The international maritime business majors go in their sophomore year. They'll go to Panama, they'll go to Norway, they can go to the United Kingdom or the Netherlands and learn about how business works internationally, really focused on trade. Because our international maritime business learn a lot about logistics and trade so that they can go right into careers with companies as diverse as Maersk, which is a shipping company, or they can go to work for a governmental agency, or they can go to work for Amazon, who has hired our graduates as well. Some of the other employers for marine science safety, there's every company has an occupational health and safety officer. They also go to work on cruise ships. Because environmental officers on that cruise ship, our energy systems majors are employed by Tesla, Raytheon, General Dynamics, and the marine engineering students are going to different shipping companies all over the world. So that, our graduates are definitely in very high demand because of the experiential learning, because of the co-ops, and because of the regimental experience. So again, STEM careers are in high demand. Now, I know a lot of students that are invested in STEM are looking at medical careers, and you might say to yourself, how could I possibly do that at Massachusetts Maritime Academy? Well, I'm here to say that we have many ways to help facilitate that, particularly through our emergency management major and our marine science, safety, and environmental health. You're not going to be doing a traditional career necessarily like nursing at the bachelor's degree level, but certainly if you were trying to pursue a career in medicine, it would be great to have that emergency management background. In addition, we have an opportunity for students to get their EMT certification and work on campus. We have a working EMT group on campus that embed with the fire department locally. And again, paramedicine, any of those type of careers are really terrific, and you can get that through the emergency management major. And again, with the the occupational health and safety, through our environmental concerns, and even with engineering. I mean, honestly, facilities engineering, they're concerned about building systems and safety. I mean, never more than in a pandemic where those facilities engineers were brought into play to work on building systems to make sure that the ventilation was safe and air exchange and upgrade all of those systems. That's where our facilities engineers would really shine. And again, with environmental science careers, sustainable energy, which is our energy systems engineering majors, and environmental protection. Our students in MSSEP as well as emergency management will get careers in environmental protection, either mitigating spills in some cases or just doing research on seagrass, on lobster diseases, on shark migration. Some of our students end up going to work for NOAA. One of our facilities engineering students actually went to work for NASA, and she's doing jet propulsion engines. So really, with the Mass Maritime career, you can take that just about anywhere in the STEM field. And again, business and law careers, environmental law and policy, that's something you could work on with an MSSEP degree. Transportation, through our emergency management, some of our students get into transportation as well as our marine engineering and marine transportation majors. They're working with sea transportation, and emergency management students may go to work for like a Department of Transportation. And law enforcement, of course, that's another career path that we specialize in for our students through the emergency management majors. So let's talk about money, financial aid, obviously. For our students, we do offer annual merit scholarships. And in addition to that, we also have non-Massachusetts awards for students. We have a Maritime Investment Initiative for students that are in our New England regional area, which is Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. And that is an automatic scholarship, or free money. It's not a scholarship really, but it's an investment initiative of $2,500 in addition to the scholarship that you're offered. And the Maritime Investment Initiative for out-of-state students, it's $10,000 every year. So those are helpful, especially when you're thinking about how you're going to pay for your college education. I'll talk a little bit about our application process. We're on the Common App, and we are also on the Mass Maritime app. November 15th is the date for our early admission process. That means you have to have all of your materials in, which would include an application, 2 letters of recommendation, an essay, and your high school transcript, obviously. We are SAT optional for this year, so that's not something you need to be concerned about. Certainly, if you have the scores, you can send them to us, but we will not be including them in our evaluation process for students that are coming to Mass Maritime for the 2022 class. So at this point, the formal part of my presentation is done. Certainly, if you have any questions, you can put them in the Q&A, and I would be more than happy to answer any questions at all about any aspect of our programs. Thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you, Joanne. It looks like we don't have any questions coming in at this time, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up for tonight. So thank you all for joining us. After you close this window, a very quick 5-question survey will appear. Please feel free to take that and give us as much feedback as you can. Feel free to sign up for more sessions throughout the week. And of course, the recording will be available at strivescan.com/cachet. Other than that, I hope you all have a great week, and we will see you next time.
Thank you very much. Good night.